every person whichever is going to enter into IT industry, I will say that computing is going to be a must. That means you must have the knowledge of the cloud computing. Even for mechanical engineering, industrial, that four is coming. There also they are using. That means in mechanical engineering syllabus also they have included the cloud computing. And most of the companies which are in cloud computing like AWS, your Microsoft, and Google, all are earning more than 50 billion, $15 billion annually. That means each of these companies have more than $15 billion annual turnover. That means each and every company. And when we talk about the startup companies, 95% of the startup companies, they use the cloud. So we would like to see which type of clouds are available, which cloud is the best, and for which purpose which cloud is used. So first, simple definition of cloud computing. Cloud computing is the on-demand delivery of IT resources over the internet with pay-as-you-go. Little bit technical definition, but let me dissect it. That means when you are using the cloud computing, like when you will visit the net's server room, there you will find that lot of servers are there. But this is the current scenario. In future, when you might be going to Nitter's server room, you will find there is no physical hardware available. Only one laptop is there, where their administrator Siddharth sir is doing all the thing, managing the servers using single laptop. That means you will not find in future. It might be after 10 year or 5 year, you might find that there is not a single server lying in Siddharth sir's room. So what is happening? That means when you are moving to the cloud computing, no need to purchase, own, and maintain servers and data centers. You can create and access computing, storage, networking, database resources from anywhere. Anywhere mean if I'm at a restaurant, I can create the resources. I am at a beach, I can create the resources. I'm traveling, I can create the resources. Anywhere, anytime. Anytime. Sometimes our job is 9 to 5, or maximum we can enter into the rooms up to 8 p.m. or that. But when you're using the cloud computing anytime, 24 hour, that means if at 2 o'clock in the night you want certain resources, new resources, what you can do, you can launch those resources. And the another advantage, by using any device, that means you can maintain your resources by using laptop, by desktop, by smartphone, by using the tab. That means this is the simple definition. And when we talk about the cloud, basically three types of clouds are available. First one is infrastructure as a service cloud, second is platform as a service cloud, a third one is your software as a service cloud. So first I will discuss about this infrastructure as a cloud. So what is this infrastructure as a cloud? Now again I'm taking the example of a Netter's server room. Suppose now Netter wants to provide certain additional services, like they want certain online platform for courses. Now what they will do? For that they will require certain new hardware, and they will need storage also, lot of storage, because when we are launching lot of online resources which are already created, and a person can join those courses, and they can, like online platforms are there, Coursera, Udemy's are there. That means suppose Nitter is wanting to implement that type of solution. For that they are going to need certain powerful servers. So two choices are there. First is their traditional choice. That mean they will go to Dell or HP or IBM company, and they will try to order the server. Now, whenever we have to order the servers, we need to have certain requirements. That mean first of all you have to decide which processor you are going to use in those servers, i3, i5, or i7, or a lot of varieties of processors are there. Then you have to decide mean which type of hard disk you are going to use. Traditionally we are using the magnetic hard disk, but in my laptop I'm using SSD hard disk. SS hard disk is very fast. And if you have got SSD hard disk in your laptop, your backup, like in my laptop, backup is from 7 to 8 hour, so it increases, and it is very fast. So when we are purchasing the server, we have to decide that also, whether magnetic disk or SSD. If we are going to use the SSD, that means a lot of more money will be involved, but performance will be. Then network interface card will be of which speed. Then RAM is another crucial option, whether you want 32 GB, 1 terabyte of that. Then another choice, operating system, whether it is going to be Linux or Windows, or some free operating systems. It will depend. So that means lot of decision that network administrator has to make. Then they will call for the quotations. That means once they have identified the requirement, and when they actually are going to get that hardware, uh, it could be 2 months, or it could be 3 to 4 weeks. But it usually, we have seen that it takes from 1 month to 2 months, which is very lengthy in this age. But if we are going to use the cloud computing, what I can do, I can go to either AWS cloud, which is the number one cloud company, or we can go to the Google cloud, or we can go to the Azure cloud, which is Microsoft's cloud. And there we can specify with the click of mouse, like we go to amazon.in, that type of site, whichever thing we have to purchase, within minutes we can order those things, instead of going to Elanta mall or that type of thing. That means going physically, we can these days order the things quickly. Same way, when you will go to the any cloud companies, they have got one web interface is available, where we are going to say we want 1 terabyte RAM, we want this processor, we want so much hard disk, and we want this operating system. You will be surprised to know that within 3 to 5 minutes you will get that server. But that is not physical server, which is virtual server. And whichever cloud provides this service, that is called infrastructure as a service cloud. Earlier name of this cloud was hardware as a service, but these day hardware term is not considered suitable. So what they have done, they have named it hardware infrastructure as a service. So whenever we are going to use any cloud uh, which offers infrastructure as a services, what we will get the virtual servers. So in our case, later on I will be giving you one example. That means we will go to the biggest cloud company, which is AWS, and we are going to order one Windows server, and we will see within 3 to 5 minutes we will get the servers. And after and sometimes what happens, suppose I need the server for 2 hours only for experiment. So in real case, if you are going to purchase for 4 or 5 lakh the servers, it is very costly, but because your need is for only 2 hours. So what will you can do in cloud? After 2 hours, what you can do, you can delete that virtual server. So what will happen? Only you will get the bill for that 2 hours. So that means when we are getting the infrastructure, we are getting the virtual server, that is called your infrastructure as a service cloud. And famous examples are the best example that you can come is in mind is Amazon EC2. In our case, I will be giving the demo of this cloud. And another options are Google offer cloud compute engine. Again, if you are going to go to the definition of that, secure and customizable compute service that let you create and run virtual machine on Google's infrastructure. That means virtual servers. Then we have got another type of cloud available. Suppose I am a PHP programmer. Now we see always say that Chandigarh is also a big IT industry, but I have seen in Chandigarh most of the 70 to 80% companies they work on PHP platform. So sometimes it happens that at certain places certain technology is more prevalent. Suppose now I'm talking about Chandigarh industry. I have already said that 80% people here, when we talk about IT, they are using PHP as a software for creating the dynamic application. Now, as a PHP programmer, What I have to do, if I'm going to use my local system, first I have to install either Linux or Windows. Then I need to, because for running PHP we need one web server also. Please remember, whenever you are visiting any website, that website is sent to you by some web server, which could be Apache web server, which could be Engine web server, or which could be IS web server. So that means for launching PHP we need a Linux or Windows operating system also, we need Apache web server also, and we need some database also. It could be MySQL or MariaDB. That means before I, as a PHP programmer, before I have to start writing the code, I need some system which will have the Windows Linux, which will have Apache install, which will have MariaDB install, which will have PHP install. Then I will start working. And I have seen most of the time when you're entering into this PHP, sometimes you are not able to configure all the things, and you are not able to relate all these things. So in platform as a service, what will happen if you are going to go to some platform as a service cloud? What they are going to do? They will give you Linux or Windows, and Apache will be pre-installed. MariaDB or MySQL will be pre-installed. PHP will be pre-installed. You have to just start writing the code. That means that is platform as a service. This cloud is for programmer, developer. They use this type of cloud. And when we were talking about infrastructure as a service, this is for you can say network administrator or hardware administrator. They use this infrastructure as a service cloud. And whenever we are going to talk about these you can say programmers or developer, they are always going to use this platform as a service cloud. And famous examples are AWS, Elastic Beanstalk. Then we have got OpenShift is there. Then we have got Google email is there. That type of things are there. So in our case, we are going to do that. Let me see if there is some issue with. Is my audio is I'm audible or not? Please, any one of you, audio and video is clear? Okay, okay. Thank you, thank you. So again, I will move back to that. Mean certain companies they offer this type of platform as a cloud. One example is AWS Elastic Beanstalk. Second is your Open Red Hat OpenShift. Then we have got Google Apps Engine is there. Then third type of service is your software as a service. Now, software as a service, everybody uses this. So let me give you one example. Uh, Now, these days, most of the people we use Office. Office mean Word, PowerPoint, these type of thing. But you already might be knowing that Windows has launched a new product. Not, I will say new product. Already 3 to 4 years has happened. Office 365 is the new their product. So whenever we talk about Office 365, you people will say, "Sir, please, if you have got the copy of Office 365, please give it to us." No, they do not have given any of Office 365 copy to anyone. What they have done, Microsoft, they have installed Office 365 on their servers. Now, how we are going to get access to those servers? We have to create one account on Microsoft site. So what will happen? We can open the Word, PowerPoint, or Excel in browser. So that is basically software as a service. That means in future, whenever you are going to work, you do not need to install some software on your system. You will just go to the cloud company and you will start using their option. Even in future, everybody uses this antivirus. In future, antivirus will be cloud based. That means now these days, whenever we install antivirus, we have to install a lot of things every day. We have to update the definitions. But new variety of antiviruses are coming. Those antiviruses are called cloud antiviruses. On those cloud antivirus, we are not going to install some big component on our PCs or our mobile. We will just install one small agent, and we never need to update the definition every day, because through cloud our scan will be performed whether we have got some virus or not. So everything is moving towards the these type of cloud. So let me give one example of this first software as a service. So let me, in my case, this Google Drive is open. So when we, I'm going to click on this. Look at this, what it is showing, Google Docs. So when I'm going to click on Google Docs. Then I'm going to click on two or three things, Google Sheets. Then I'm going to click on Google Slides. So let me first go to this sheet. Now if you are going to look, I have not installed anything. This is coming through the browser. That means I can create Excel type sheets by just using the browser. And what will happen, whatever sheets I'm going to I'm going to create, it will be stored in the cloud itself, which sometimes we call as a storage as a service. So these days, what you need to have, only you need to have one laptop or some smart device only with the browser. From browser you can do anything. So this is your spreadsheet, this is your Google Doc, and this is your presentation software. And whatever you are going to do, it will get saved here. That means you know, do not need to take all the resources with you, automatically backup will be there. So this is your example of you can say software as a service. This is the example of your software as a service. That means in future you do not need to install any software on your system. Even the people who are working in Photoshop, already their products are there, Photoshop CC. That means now in future version, these software will be available on cloud only. So that means each and every type of professional, they have to move into the. So when we talk about this software as a service, this is for everyone. When we talk about this uh, infrastructure as a cloud, this is for network engineers and we can say network administrator. This is for programmer, that means for technical people, the first one is also. But when we talk about software as a service, anybody can use this type of. And please remember, it is not only that Google Doc, when we talk about these type of thing, they are offering this type software type as a service, which is called SaaS also. Microsoft is offering. And one new company, let me show you, one very these day getting famous day by day, that is yahoo.com. And they have got more than 150 different product on cloud, everything. That mean accounts, uh, your remote management, meetings, presentations, ERPs. That mean lot of software, and it is becoming day and day. I think within 2 or 3 it will be at the scale of Google and Amazon, that type of. And most of their services, almost 80% of their services are always free. So if you have to use office type of thing, do not need to purchase. You have to just click on this. If you want to use their spreadsheet, so let me click on this. I will open it here. So let us see. So you can use this type of company also. So we will say assess Yahoo.com. So that means each and every, and this is again $1 billion company. So when we are going to click on this, create new spreadsheet, what it is going to show you. That means this is always free. No need to spend any money. And here their writer product is there. And these are very sophisticated. And whenever we are going to create any product, what will happen? When we are going to save it, automatically it will be saved in their servers itself. That means storage as a service cloud. So lot of companies, they are coming, and slowly and slowly people are also moving towards these cloud company. What is the another advantage? So I'm again moving. Once I have saved the document, you can collaborate also. That means we can share, we can send the link. That means management is very easy. Like in my case, my law in my laptop, data is very important. And once almost 5 to 6 years back, somebody has stolen my laptop. What happened? That was very disastrous, because I have only taken the backup 80%, 20% data was gone, including my chapter 5 to 6 chapter of my book also, which I have not taken the backup. That was disaster for me. But if I have used the cloud at that time, what could I have done? I could have saved all the things in the cloud. But after that incident, when I lost that laptop, now always, almost on daily basis, I take my important files back up on cloud. So that mean this is the advantage. So when we talk about the cloud, three types of clouds are there. That mean infrastructure as a service cloud. So let me explain it. Infrastructure as a service cloud for hardware and network engineer. Then we have got platform as a service, then software as a service, which anybody can use, non-technical doctor, engineers, any type, even shopkeeper, anybody, no need to be technically competent. Then when we are talking about these, what are the advantages? So let me go into that. What is the, then I will give you the example of one infrastructure as a service cloud. Now what is the difference between normal cloud, I mean cloud, and traditional IT? Like now when I talk about NITO, they are using the traditional IT, that means traditional solution. In that, a lot of human involvement is required. That means if you have to manage 1000 system, lot of infrastructure, we require at least 3 to 4 persons, and with having different roles. Limited public access. Suppose there is some issue with the servers of NITR. Not all the servers can be publicly accessible. That means I have to go into the NITR physically, in that physical room, to have the access. So that is one limitation. Single tenant. Now, it has been observed that whatever data centers are there, equipment is there, hardly 10 to 15% is used. That means single tenant. But in cloud, what happens? Lot of people, millions of people are using the cloud infrastructure, so cost is less. So mostly traditional, that mean NITR's infrastructure is only NITR is using, I cannot use, or some other organization cannot use their infrastructure. So it is single. Limited scalability. So if the NITR people, already 1000 systems are there, suppose today they have requirement of 2000 system today itself, it will create problem, it will take time. But if I'm at the cloud, if I need 10,000 system, I can say to cloud, and cloud will immediately within 5 to 10 minutes, they can create 5 to 10,000 system with me. And generally usage is not mere. That mean in NITR, like a lot of departments are there, we do not know which computer science department is using how much resources, electronic department is using how much resourcing, curriculum development is using how much resources. That mean then we cannot attribute the cost. So this is the limitation of traditional IT. But when we are moving into the clouds, so what are the advantages? First of all, on demand self service. That means when anybody needs servers, like in nature or some university, sometimes researchers are there for doing the research. Sometimes we need certain resources. That mean we should have some server with so much RAM. That means So researcher have to send the request to their department. Through that, they will go to the IT department, and then they will provide them the hardware. And it could take weeks. But in the case of cloud, what can happen within 2 minutes, 2 to 5 minutes, any researcher or any employee can create the resources on demand self-service. That means we will go to the cloud. I will be giving the example of this. That means within minute we can create the resources we can use. And broad network access, that means it is not necessary that for assessing your resources you need a laptop or desktop. With from smartphone, lot of companies, uh, once I was attending the some cloud conference, their ndtv's administrator was there. He was saying that he's managing most of the things from his you can say mobile phone only. So that means whenever he is traveling, he can manage for at that time also. So that means by using any type of device. Resource pooling. Suppose from Chandigarh, I want to go to Delhi, and I want to go to through plane, and I am saying that only I will be sitting in the plane. So what will happen? It will be very costly. It will not be affordable. So what is happening? And if in the plane 150 seats are there, so cost is getting divided. Same way, when we use the cloud, whatever hardware is there, that resource is being used by millions of people and companies. So the cost is very less as compared to traditional IT in cloud. Rapid elasticity mean quickly you can create the resources, quickly you can dismantle the resources. And mirrored resources, like in my case now, when I'm going to give you the example, uh, whatever time, if I'm going to use for 5 minutes, what will happen? AWS is going to charge me for 5 minutes. So let me condense these things and then move to the practical. So let me give you the this one. That means whenever you will go to any cloud service, in our case, now I will take you to the AWS cloud, which is the biggest cloud and which is a necessary skill. Whether you are using IoT, whether you are using database, whether you are using machine learning, whether you are I mean any type of profession in any category, uses of cloud is almost a necessary. Like when you purchase car, four tires are necessary. Same way, this cloud computing is becoming necessary. So whenever you will go to the any cloud service, lot of services will be there. So almost AWS has got 200 different services are there. So in our case, we are going to choose one of those service which is EC2. That means for creating virtual server. Now what happened? Out of this service you do not need, like we when we go to the Atlanta, lot of shops, everything is there. Now you are not going to visit each and every shop, or you are going to purchase each and every item. We will just visit to the shop that where our needed product is there. So same way we can choose the services we need. And anytime, if at 2 o'clock in the night I want resources, I can use for any duration also. For 1 minute also I can use. Sometimes in my case I am working on lot of advanced technology. I need sometimes 3 to 4 servers for 1 hour, or sometimes 2 hours. So I generally go to the cloud computing company, generally AWS. I create the resources, I might do the experiment, then I terminate the resources. That means any duration, no complex licensing. Now these days when you purchase the hardware, these type of thing, you a lot of licensing issues are there. But here simple. That means when we are going to use, that cloud company is going to take care uh, what are the license costs, that type of, and no need to long term contact. That means if I want to use their services, I do not have to enter into any, I have to just create the account. And the second advantage is mirrored service. Like what happens in cloud, like whenever we are using the electricity, our bill will be according to the resources we have used, electricity used, or water. Same way on cloud, whenever you use the resources, If you are not using any resources, no bill will be there. But if you are using for 1 hour, the bill will be for 1 hour. So to give you the example of what I am doing, I am going to take you to the AWS cloud, which is the biggest cloud company, almost with 50% market share. And there I'm going to show your AWS EC2 service. So in my case, let me move. So I'm going to close this one, which terminal I do not require. So due to security issues, what I have done, I have already logged in into my AWS account. And please remember, whenever you have to use this cloud, you have to type this one, aws.amazon.com. Please remember, do not forget to use this, because otherwise it will take you to their e-commerce site. But when you are using their cloud computing, what you have to use? Amazon Web Service, AWS. And please remember, the beauty of this AWS cloud is they give you 1 year access free for certain resources. That means you can use the AWS cloud for 1 year freely, no need to pay. But not each and every service. So you can always create account here. And please remember, when you're going to create the account here, you have to give your debit or credit card information. And for verifying whether your debit or credit card is working or not, they are just going to deduct 2 rupees. That means because sometimes we might be misusing their service, so we have to relate. But that does not mean if you are going to create your account by using debit or credit card, they are going to charge monthly some money. If you are not going to use any resources, then you will be having zero bill. So what we can do, we can start freely also. So in my case, I have already done that. So in my case, I have logged in as a Vipin Gupta, and look at this services. The services are there. Analytics, AR and VR, cost management, blockchain is there, compute. In our case, we will be using the compute. And next, advanced technology, container is there, database is there, Internet of Things. And please remember, a lot of bigger companies, they are using, when they are using Internet of Things, they are using AWS, machine learning. And almost every week they are launching certain service, and different storage services are also there. So in our case, what we can do, we can select in our, or if you know that what we need, we can search for that. In our case, we want this EC2. And please remember, most of the networking and hardware person these days, they use this EC2 service. And please remember, was the one of the first services. Please remember, AWS was the first cloud company that started offering these services. And this EC2 was the first service. I mean, two or three the first service that they have launched. One was their storage service, and this EC2, and it is very very popular. In my case also, whenever I have to launch certain things, or when I'm doing the consultancy, I always recommend, please use, instead of purchasing the physical servers, just go for the virtual server. So in our case, I'm going to give you the example of there. Now here what it is saying, the AWS people, they call their server as instances. So what it is showing, in my case, 0 instances are running. And the more important thing, look at this. Now when you are launching your web server, your servers, virtual server, you can also select in which country your servers will be running. Suppose my most of the clients, they are in USA, then I will not be launching my virtual server in Mumbai. Then what I will do, I will be using that USA. And suppose my most of the client, they are in Singapore. So what I can do, I can choose. So lot of regions are available. In India also, Mumbai region is available, and recently they have launched one Hyderabad region. And sometimes there is government requirement. Like for financial company, that means whenever they have to launch their server, this your servers should be in India. Suppose Indian regulations. So what we can do, we can launch. Suppose I'm taking one example. In my case, my most of the clients are in Singapore. So in my case, what I'm going to do, I'm going to choose Singapore. That means Amazon has got more than 70 data center in different countries. So in our case, what we are going to do, I'm going to choose their data center which are in Singapore region. And please remember, when I'm talking about Mumbai, in Mumbai region, it is, let me give you one example. Suppose I want to purchase Bata shoes. Now, Bata shoes, they have got their showroom in Delhi also, Chandigarh also, Mumbai also. So when I talk about Chandigarh, Delhi, and Mumbai, I'm talking about regions. So when I'm clicking here, I have selected the region. That means I want to be in Singapore. That means now I have decided that Bata shoe I'm going to purchase in Chandigarh. Now in Chandigarh, which sector? 32, 17, or suppose I'm assuming it is in 15 sector also. So further, I have to decide whether from 50 sector or 32 sector or 17 sector. Same way, when I'm going to select Singapore, it is further going to ask me in Singapore which data center. So we will see that. So in our case, what I'm going to do, we will go into instances. So I'm giving one practical example. So here I'm going to say launch instances. That means I want to launch one new server. Instead of purchasing the server, here the term is launch virtual server. So when we are going to click, so here we will name our web server. If you are going to visit any company, like if you are physically ever visiting Knitter, just go to their server room after requesting that we want to see that. There you will find lot of servers are there, and on servers they have marked that this is web server, this is FTP server, this is mail server. Physical tag they have put. Same way, when you are going to launch your server, these are virtual servers, so we have to tag these servers. So I'm saying this is my web server. So you can name your server. To second server you can say mail server. That means for whatever purpose you want to use this server, uh, you can use the name for that. Then this is very important, because when we were talking about this server, what we need to decide which operating system, how much RAM, how much processor, how much disk. So first it is asking which operating system you want. And please remember, when Siddharth in Nitter they order the server, first they will get the hardware, then they have to install the operating system. But in the case of cloud, when we are going to request the server, whatever operating system we are going to ask, it will be already installed. So we have to tell them which, whether we want Linux or Windows. So because you people might not be comfortable with the Linux, so in my case I will be choosing the Windows server. I want Windows server. So here we have to specify whether Linux, whether Mac operating system, which Linux. In my case, I'm going to say I want to choose the Windows. And then which window? Lot of windows are over here, 19 base, 16 base. And please be clear about one thing. Whenever you are experimenting, please choose something which comes under free tier eligible. I have already told you that whenever you are going to use AWS, you can create free account for 1 year. This free account is available free. So whenever you are choosing some operating system, please make sure that this comes under free tier. Otherwise, what will happen if that does not come under free tier? Then they will be charging certain money. So in our case, I'm going to choose, because most of the time I work on, whenever I work on Windows servers, I work on 2016 server. So in my case, I am choosing this 2016 server. So I will click on this. So that means now first decision I have already made, that I want operating system as Microsoft Windows 2016 server. Then this is very important. Instance type. Now it is showing that T2 micro. In T2 micro, what it is giving? It is giving us 1 GB RAM, one processor. Although this is not recommended. But please remember, if you are going to choose this server, what will happen? You did not need to pay any money. But sometimes when you are using the resources, this is not sufficient. So what we have got? We have got different variety of hardware available. Like let me show this C5X large. What it is going to give you? 4 CPUs, 8 GB RAM. So let us go to another. That means lot of variety is there. Now M3 medium, it is giving you 1 CPU. So lot of hardwares are there. Let me go to something here. 15 GB RAM. So if you are going to look at different varieties, now look at this RB5 16F. It will give you 64 CPUs, 512 GB RAM. But please choose it carefully and look at this. 448, even Niter does not have that much powerful server, and 6 terabyte of RAM. Suppose I'm doing some critical experiment. That means whatever uh, configuration I am going to choose, within minute that will be launched. But please, when you are using the cloud computing, do not get overexcited. Otherwise, after 1 month, a lot of bill will be there, which will make the life very tough for. So in my case, I'm choosing one T2 micro, although not recommended to launch a server on this. That means you can choose any type of hardware. Like here, again, how much RAM. So in my case, although I have chosen, because in my case, when I am taking the session, I do not want that when I'm taking the session, a lot of cost should be involved, because we are just using it for the demo purpose. So I have chosen this. Then one very important thing, key pair. Now understanding this is very important. Now what happens? Lot of people ask whether this cloud is secure or not. Please remember, cloud is very secure. Like this is simple question, like you are asking, is money more safe in house or in bank? Please remember, money is always more safe in bank than in the house. Same way, cloud is very secure, and they implement lot of security mechanisms. One of them is key pair. That means whenever you are going to use cloud, you have to do one thing first, because I do not want it to be too technical. So please remember, when you are going to first start using cloud, the first thing that you have to do, you have to create one key pair. Key pair is public private key. Now please remember, whenever we are going to use the cloud, we have to create one key pair. In key pair, two keys will be there, public key and private key. Now AWS is going to generate one public key and private key for you. Please, you have to keep this private key very secure, because private key just like your signature. If somebody knows your signature, then they can sign on checks and they can encash certain things. Same way, when we talk about this security mechanism, when the AWS has created the public key and private key for you, they keep the public key with them, and they allow us to download the private key. So whenever I am going to launch any server, they are going to encrypt that server with my public key. That means if I have to access servers, only I can access, because only I will be having the private key. So in my case, I have already generated this key, but generating key is very easy. So here it is asking me which key you want to use. So in my case, I have already created one key. The name of that key is Singapore key. And if you have not created, here you can create. That means whatever resources you are going to create on cloud, it will secure with your public key, and then only you can access those by using your private key. So here I have to specify. Then network settings. In networking setting, it is ending how much storage you want, and then it is going to ask which type of storage. By default, cloud is going to give you SSD storage, and here you can specify whether you want 30 GB, or let me go to that configure storage. That means 30 GB. I can specify 300 also. I can specify 3000 also. But be careful. Please choose only whatever you are needing. So because when you are using AWS free tier account, they give you 30 GB free. So I'm keeping at that limit, because if I'm going to use 300, what will happen? They are going to charge me money. But here you can specify 30 terabyte also, or you can add new disks also. You can add hundreds of disks here. That means whatever resources you require, you have to just tell. Then another important thing, now, because our server will be running on, in our case, Singapore. Now, please remember, I'm giving you one example. Suppose in our house, we are creating one new room. Whenever we are going to create one new room, we have to, in that room, keep some door open. That means we have to keep some door. If you are not going to keep any door, what will happen? You will not be able to enter into that room. Same way, what happens when you are creating the servers? We need to configure the firewall. But in Linux, in AWS, they call the firewall as a security group. So in my case, what I want to allow HTTP traffic, mean because I want to implement the web server. So what I have to do, I have to select these: allow HTTP traffic, allow HTTPS traffic. Because if I am not going to select these options, what will happen? My server will be running there, but I will not be able to access. So the simple things are: first, what we have given the name, then we have chosen the operating system, then how much RAM and processor I need, that I have specified, then with which key I want to log that, then I just have opened the mean certain services there. Then what I need to do, I need to configure storage. Then but just you are going to say, and you can specify here 1000. So what will happen? Your 1000 servers will start running. But please do not do that, because your debit or credit card information is there. So that will be disastrous. So be careful when you are using the cloud. So here what we are going to do, we are going to say launch instance. So we will see within how many minutes it is going to launch, because this is Windows system. What it is saying? Successfully launched. So we will go to the instances. Now, what information it is giving? It is saying that it is, let me click on this, pending, because we have chosen very simple hardware. And where it has launched? Because this Singapore region has got three data centers. One is named 1A, 1B, 1C, because we did not specify anything, so automatically it's launched. Now, this instance, after 2 or 3 minutes, it will be in running state. And if you are launching the Linux server, that will be later. Now, look at this. It is saying running. That means your server, if you are going to purchase physical server, it will take a lot of time to first give the order. Then it will be delivered. Then you will unpack. Then you will install. A lot of problem will be there. Here, within 2 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes, it is running. But the problem is, now this server is running on Singapore, and currently I'm sitting uh, in Moga. So what will happen? I have to access that server. One is that I will go to Singapore and try to access. No, no, no. These days, we do not need to go to Singapore or USA. What I will do? I will do the remote management. That means in my case now, is server is running. The only problem is how I am going to access. If we are going to go to the netter, physical hardware is there. We will just power on that server and we will access that server. But the problem is this server is running in US, Singapore, and I want to access it from my place. So we need to understand one another thing. I'm just giving you one demo that it is not difficult for assessing the things. So once we have launched the servers, so let me discuss a little bit this thing. When you have launched something, how to assess the cloud? Creating the resources is one thing. Then assessing that resources is another thing. So I will uh, go into the this one screen. I am not going to show all the screen. So here I'm showing you one diagram. What it is showing? Windows Server. Windows Server as a AWS cloud instance. That means this Windows Server is running in Mumbai or Singapore or USA. And here in Moga or Chandigarh, I have got either Window client or Linux client. So by using Window or Linux, in my case, I have got the Window client with me. By using this Window client, what I want to do, I want to access this server which is running in Singapore. So I need to use some protocol. That protocol is RDP. Like when you access web server, you use HTTP protocol. When you download certain thing, you use FTP protocol. And when you send the mail to somebody, you use SMTP protocol. And when you view the mails in Gmail, Yahoo Mail, you use the IMAP protocols. That means for each and every purpose, we have got certain protocol. So please remember, whenever your server is running remotely, whether it is running in AWS cloud or Google cloud or Microsoft cloud, we have to assess by using RDP. And in my case, window, whether it is window client or Linux client, I have to use the RDP protocol. So in my case, what I am going to do now, this is server, I will be assessing this by using RDP client. But please remember, if you have ever used Windows system, most of us have used the Windows system, but if you have ever used the servers, for entering into server we need one username and password. Now, if I have installed the operating system, I will have that username and password. But in our case, what has happened? That cloud company, they have given us the hardware and they have installed the operating system. So they know the password. So we have to ask them the password. Which is the password of our that server which is running. So we do not need to make a phone call to them. What we are going to do, we are going to say connect. So in connect we will say, but before that we need to do, let me again go to that. That means whenever you have to, let me go to the first instances. This instance is there, so I need to get the password. So for getting the password, just go to the connect, and in connect just select the RDP. Now in this RDP, what it is showing? It is showing that please get the password. So I will click on this get password, but it is saying it is going to show the password only to those person which has got this key available. The name of that key is Singapore key. Now if 40 participants are there, they are not having this key. So in my case, I am having the key. So what I will do, I will say upload the key. So in my case, I have saved the key somewhere. So this is my key. So what I'm going to do? I'm going to say decrypt the password. So please remember, this is the password. That means this is the password they have given to me. Now I have got server running. I have got the password available. The only thing is I do not have the RDP client with me. So AWS, the cloud people, they make the life so much easier that they give you that RDP client also. So what we are going to do, we will say download. So in my case, I'm going to save it on the desktop. So RDP client is there. So I will say connect. Now please remember, now I am trying to access my Singapore server. So what it is asking? Asking for the password. Now we have the password. So we are going to say okay. It will say certain warnings. We are not bothered about the warning. So please remember, now what I am trying to do. Trying to access this server. Now this server is, please remember, this is running in Singapore. So we can minimize this. Now what we can do, like if you have purchased a physical server, what you will do, you will go to that server, you can configure the other things. So in this case, what is happening, your server is running in Singapore. I am assessing it from, that is the advantage. That means I do not have to go to the physical room. Suppose if I am having the problem and I want to take the help of somebody, which is that person who is sitting in Bangalore. So what I can do, I can give for a moment, I can give that key to that person. What that person can do, that by sitting from Bangalore, they can troubleshoot my server. So what is happening? This is infrastructure as a service. So in future, what will be happening in your college, in your university, or in your company? Only the admin will be having one simple laptop, and from laptop he will be managing the servers. That means in that no physical servers will be available. That is going to be the future. That means already I have told that 95% of the startup companies, what they do, they use this infrastructure as a service for launching their server. What is the benefit? Benefit is that you like I was giving the demo. So after now, within 10 minutes, I do not need this server. So what I can do, I can delete the server. Or sometimes you need certain resources for experiment for one day only. Or sometimes when we have created some logic, we want to test that logic. Instead of having supercomputers and that type of infrastructure here, we can go to the any cloud company, we can do the expert. I do these things lot of time because I work in certain technologies in which I need minimum 3 powerful servers. So I always use these cloud facilities for him. Now I do not need this. So I can what do, I can close this. Now what will happen? Suppose somebody has stolen my laptop. Will the that server will be still be there or not? Yes, it will be there because this is running in Singapore data center. I was just accessing that server by using the laptop. So if even my laptop is stolen, nothing will happen. So now I do not want this instance. So please be careful when you do not need the instances. Please terminate. So in my case, what I'm going to do, I'm going to terminate this instance. That means if I have used for 5 minutes, charges will be for 5 minutes. And what are the other services? Then we have got one very powerful service is there, S3 is there. I'm just giving you one example. 40 to 50% companies, they use this simple storage service uh, for storage purpose. Earlier day, even your you can say your Dropbox used to behind the scene use this S3 service, simple storage service. Then we have got machine learning is available, database is there. Let me go to let me show you little bit database, just showing because you have attended lot of sessions. So here what we can do, let me go to this RDS. Now most of the time we use database. It could be MySQL, it could be MariaDB, it could be Oracle, it could be MySQL. So what we can do, we can use that in cloud. So when I'm going to click on, we will not do this, I'm just showing you. It is saying database, and it will give you lot of option. You will be surprised to see the options that it is going to give you. So it is taking time. That means when you're using the cloud, you can use database as a service, you can use IoT, you can use machine learning. Now look at this. It is giving you the option whether you want to use MySQL, MariaDB, PostgreSQL is again one very useful. Oracle. And if you have ever installed Oracle, sometimes the people who want to use Oracle for few days, they are not even able to install the Oracle, let alone work on the Oracle. But here within 4 or 5 minutes, you can use any of the databases. That means that is the property of cloud. That means you can use the databases also. I'm not going to show you. Then we have got another services available. Blockchain is there, then latest container is there, even IoT, like I have seen that lot of IoT sessions were there. So what you can do, lot of IoT services are there. And in IoT, you might have heard that there is one edge devices are there. Again, AWS has got mastery in that, which is called green grass. So let me summarize the thing, and I will keep 10 or 15 minutes for that. You can say for question answer also. So that means when you three type of cloud is there. In my case, I have given you the example of this infrastructure as a service. Then you have got platform as a service. Then I have a little bit shown you that software as a service when you're using that Microsoft Online or Google Docs or Yahoo Docs, you are using as a software as a service. And one another thing uh, one another little bit thing that I just want to discuss for 2 or 3 minutes. Sometimes when you're going to talk about cloud, they will say that cloud computing has got three deployment models: public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud. Now, what is the meaning of public cloud? When I was using the AWS, I was giving you the example of public cloud. What is the meaning of public cloud? Like when we go to the bus, anybody can sit in the bus. That means we call that as a public service. That means AWS, I can use, you people can also use AWS cloud. You have to pay the money. That means that is why this is called public, used by many organizations. And it involves the lowest cost, reliable, location independent. That means like AWS, they have got almost more than 27 different regions are there, like Mumbai, Hyderabad, Singapore, London, a lot of things. So that means anywhere you can launch your resources. But sometimes we are more security conscious. We do not want that whatever resources we are using, other people should not be able to use. Suppose Knitter, they want to create their own cloud, so they can use already certain software are there which are open source, like OpenStack software is there, so they can use this. So what they can do, in Knitter they can implement OpenStack. What will happen then? It will become a private cloud because only Knitter people will be able to access. So sometimes when we are using a particular cloud for one particular organization, that comes into the category of private cloud. Now sometimes what happens when we are implementing the private cloud, we need lot of hardware resources. Suppose Knitter has decided that they are going to implement their own private cloud, but sometimes suppose there is some conference or some event is happening in Knitter. At that time they might require certain more resources. So sometimes what happens, certain companies, they deploy the private cloud, but when there is a peak, At that time, what they do, they start using public cloud also. So when you are using private cloud also, and for access load you are using public cloud, that is the example of your hybrid cloud. So some company exclusively use public cloud, some use private cloud, and some lives in the hybrid model. So these are the different. And regarding career in cloud computing, please remember, whichever field you are going to go, you have to use the cloud, whether it is infrastructure as a service or platform as a service, or if you are a simple you have to use for collaboration purpose software as a service. Even for your scanning your system you are going to, or for designing something, even these day AutoCAD, all software they have started coming as a cloud.